Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to the Flippin Friday May 2021 challenge. Now, Flippin Friday is something that Miss Jamie does once a month, where she has a playlist and different creators come on, and we just take old items and flip them into something brand new. You could get it out of your house or from the Goodwill or from a friend or anywhere else for that matter. You just take something that is old and make it new again. Now, Jamie has two different channels. She has one channel called Border Bananas DIY and another channel called Border Bananas. So make sure you go down in my description box and go visit both of her channels and check her out. So I'm going to jump right on into my DIYs for this channel, and I'll talk more about Border Bananas in a few minutes. So for DIY number one, I have this little shelf here that I got from the Goodwill for 50 cents. It was on sale for 99 cents, and it was half off Senior Day, so I got it for a measly 50 cents. And literally all I did was took some spray paint. This is the Almond by Rust-Oleum, and just gave it a really good coat of spray paint. It only took one coat to cover the whole entire thing, and it literally, after I did that, looked brand new again. It is amazing to me what a can of spray paint will do for any item that is old and worn out. But I particularly love the way this turned out. And I did it with some leftover spray paint that we had for another project that my husband was working on. And I wasn't sure if there was even enough left in the can to be able to paint this, but there was, and it gave it a really good coat. Now, I came back in after it dried, and I took this Truffle by Waverly and just dry brushed all over it to distress it and give it that farmhousey kind of feel. And I almost left it plain, but literally, if you've been to my channel before, you know that I like to distress everything. Distressing is not for everybody. The people who love it, love it. The people who hate it, can't stand it. I happen to be one of the distressing lovers. So I just distressed it, and once I got it all distressed, I was done. All I had to do was let it dry and then hang it on the wall and decorate it. So if you are here from the playlist, welcome to Monner's Market. My name is Brenda, and my grandkids call me Monner, so that's where my name came from. My channel is very, very new. It's only been going on for just a few months, and I am growing slowly. I've had some health problems, and I had to kind of slow down and take it easy for a few months, but I'm doing 100% better now and back on top of doing all of my DIYs. So if you see all of the bruising all over my hands and arms, that's just from being an old lady that's on a blood thinner. So excuse the bruising. I can literally reach in my purse and come out with a bruise or a cut. So just ignore that and pretend like I got pretty sexy arms and they're skinny. Anyway, I had somebody private message me before about all of my bruises, and it just comes with being an old lady. I mean, I've got 18 grandkids and 3 great grandkids, so I'm old as dirt. But that's enough about me. Let me show you what this little shelf turned out like when I was all done. I happen to love the way it turned out, and I decorated it in some stuff that I made recently on another video that I did. So if you would like to see how I made those little cloches on the top shelf, make sure you subscribe to my channel and go down a couple of videos, and you will see them and see how I made them and see how you can recreate them. I thought they turned out just adorable and just as cute as they can be. So make sure you leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about my shelf. Definitely give me a big thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already subscribed. Let's get on into DIY number 2. Now, this little thing right here, I fell in love with. Got it at the Goodwill. It was $2.49, and I only go to the Goodwill on Senior Day because I can get everything half price that day. So I ended up spending $1.25 on this little, I'm going to call it a cheese tray. I don't know what, I mean, that's what I use mine for. I don't know what else anybody would call it, but I love this. I've got a couple of them that are made out of wood, but this one was like a real heavy steel or metal or something. It was heavy on the bottom. And you know, those tops are so thick, they're pretty heavy too. So it's a good solid piece for $1.25. And I brought it home, cleaned it up real good, and literally the only thing I did to this was I took some white Waverly chalk paint and dry brushed it so I could distress it down. I started to completely repaint it a whole nother color, but I really liked the color of that metal, and I didn't want to lose all of that, but I didn't want too much of it showing. So I heavily distressed this piece, and I love the way it turned out after I got it distressed. Now you will see that I leave that little middle piece plain, and I don't distress it. But look at those little beading around the inside of that circle. When you distress it, it just pops. It's like, oh, hello, here I am. I'm beaded up, and you couldn't see me before, but you can see me now. Sexy. So that's why I like distressing things. It just brings out little details that we would normally not be able to see. So what I did is printed out a bunch of different prints for my DIYs today. And this is the one that I picked out for my little cheese tray. Now, you can call this what you want to call it. If you know the real name for it, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what it's called, because I don't have a clue. But I took my picture, and all I did now was just printed this on regular printer paper on the computer. I Googled me some free farmhouse animal images, and this is one that popped up, and I thought it was just the cutest little cow you've ever seen in your life. And I knew it would go perfect on my little tray. So I printed it out, cut it out, and put some Mod Podge on it, Mod Podged it down, and then I went ahead and Mod Podged over the top. Now, this is food safe Mod Podge, supposedly, but I will not be setting any raw food on top of that for a couple of reasons. I don't want it to ruin my tray or my food. So I took this here wired jute twine, and you can get this from the Dollar Tree. And I went around that edge on the inside. I did not use my Cricut to cut my circle, so my circle was not perfect. Had I cut it with my Cricut, I wouldn't have had to add anything around that edge. But I took that little wire jute twine, and right there I'm just measuring out to see how big of a piece I need. And then I just go in with a little bit of hot glue and tacked it all around. And it did a couple of things. It added another touch of a little farmhouse feel. It covered up that little, the imperfections of where I cut it. And to bring that all together, I just took some twine it's not wired, and just wrapped it around the top of that little ball right there that you hold on to pick it up with. And then I made me a little Sammy bow or a messy bow and put it on the top, and that was it. Look at that. Tell me what you think down in the comments about this. Do you like my little cow? Her name is Bessie, of course, because all cows have to be called Bessie. But look at the detail. If those flowers weren't in the way, I'm going to show you here in just a second. Look at the detail that dry brushing and distressing brought out in that piece. You would have never been able to see the ornamentation on that Now, this is DIY number 3. These are 5 plaques with hooks that I got, every single one of them from the Goodwill for 99 cents a piece. So $5 in the whole set. And I actually found them all over the Goodwill. There was not 2 of them close together at any part of the store. I found one to the left, one to the right, 2 in the back or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, they were just randomly all over the store. And once I found the 3rd one, then it was like a little treasure hunt. I was going through the Goodwill trying to see how many I could find, but that is all I could find that day was the 5. And I was just tickled with that. I was happy. I was actually beyond happy with that. Now, let me see. You see those little feet that just walked up? That is my grandson, Malachi. And he got so excited when he found out that I was crafting for one of my YouTube videos that he asked me if he could be in the video to tell y'all what I'm doing. So I'm going to let Malachi step in here in just a minute and tell you, bless his heart, what I'm doing. And he was tickled to be a part of this video, and I was tickled to have him. So show Malachi some love down in the comments. See, he's looking up in the camera. Show Malachi some love down in the comments. Say hey to him and thank him for helping us out in the video. But once I get these painted, I'm going to let him talk for just a second. But I took that white Waverly chalk paint and I gave every single one of these just a good coat of paint. Now, I didn't paint them twice or anything like that because that chalk paint really has good coverage. And I knew that I was going to be distressing this down and adding a picture to the front of each one of them. So that's why I didn't really go in and do more than one coat of paint on this. But once I got all 5 of them painted, here's Malachi.
This is Malachi. Oh my.
You don't know your own name?
No. This is Malachi Nana's bloopers. This is Malachi. Oh my gosh, bloopers. This is bloopers, Mama.
It's all right. You're doing good.
Yeah.
My arm's getting sore. Come on.
This is Malachi, Monner's grandchild, and she's gonna do a farm video for y'all. Watch and learn.
Ain't he precious, y'all? Thank you, buddy, for helping Monner do my video. I appreciate that. So once I got all of these painted up and ready to go, I took 5 more of the little prints that I had printed out on my computer and did a little process, I guess is what I need to say, on putting them on there. Now, what I did is something that I've used in the past. I've used it a lot on my bathroom remodel that you will find in my videos under Vintage Farmhouse series. And I actually had, I think, 7 or 8 videos in that series where I went through and completely redid my bathroom. And this is how I did it. I take a little bit of coffee. I pour just maybe not even 1/4 of that coffee out of that little pod. And you take your fingers like I'm doing here. You wet them in some water, go around your pitcher, and it softens that pitcher up. And then you just go back through and you just pick. So you're tearing that to make it look old and worn and tore up. And once you do that, while the paper is still wet, you dip your fingers down in that coffee and rub it all around the edge. And it just gives it this old, vintage, worn look that I absolutely love. Now, like I said in my other videos where I've used this method before, I am not a coffee drinker, except for in the really, really cold of the winter. I love me a coffee in the cold winter. But just to be a coffee drinker every day, I don't really drink it. but I have guests who come over and drink it. So that's why I have it on hand. But it smelled so good. And I love doing this because I love the smell. So I also, if you've seen me with that plaque right there, I wet the plaque with my hand and take that coffee and smear it all over that plaque. Now, why I did that on these plaques today, I don't know. Because I went in with some Waverly truffle chalk paint and distressed them down anyway. I wasn't even thinking. Usually whenever I do this coffee stain method, I don't use anything else to distress it with. But I don't know. I was off in La La Land or something. I don't know where I went. But it didn't really take up that much more time to distress those little plaques down. And it was fun doing it. You know, you just get your fingers messy, and I just had a good time doing it. So anyway, once I got all of that done, I take my little pictures and some Mod Podge it and get it all glued down. And now once you get that Mod Podge down there and get it glued down, go ahead and take your Mod Podge and cover up your whole entire picture. It's going to seal it in, and it's going to give your whole entire piece a uniform look, where you don't have, the little bit of shiny or matte or whatever kind of Mod Podge you're using. It just don't look like a half-done piece. So I know I've sped this up quite a bit where you can't really tell it, but I do take that Mod Podge and cover the entire plaque on all 5 of them. And like I said, then I take that truffle and I just go through and distress it down. And once I did that, you'll see me here playing with this twine, trying to figure out where I wanted to put some, because I knew I wanted some, but I didn't know where to put it. I ended up going with the very first thing I tried, so I should have just went with it the first time. But I took that twine and wrapped it around sort of the bottom part of each one of these plaques and glued it down to give it that little farmhouse feel and another little touch of something to decorate it with. Now you will see that on 3 of them, I took the twine and went around. And then on the 2 that are different, I ended up gluing a little rose, a burlap rose on there. See, there's the roses right there. And this is how they turned out. And I love them. Now, I did not hang them up yet, so I just leaned them up against my backsplash for you to see what they look like. But I wanted them to look really old and worn and look like they come out of my great-granny's house or something, or out of her barn maybe. So leave me a comment down below and let me know if you think I fulfilled that I was trying to do with these. Do they look old and worn out? Do you think they're cute, or do you think I went overboard with the distress? And tell me what you think about it. Leave me a comment. Leave me a big thumbs up for sure. And like I said, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe and become a part of my family. But definitely make sure that you go to the playlist. It's going to be linked down in my description box, and check out all the other creators and see what they flipped for you today. And for sure, go over to Jamie's 2 channels, Board or Bananas, and Board or Bananas DIY, and show her some love. She's the one who does this challenge every month, and I appreciate you for letting me be a part of it. Now, DIY number 4 is this little paper plate holder that I got at the Goodwill. You see that says 99 cents. Well, maybe you can't see it. And I, of course, got it for 50 cents. So this one was real easy to do. I just took the little price tags off, cleaned it up, and went over the whole entire thing with that white Waverly chalk paint. Now, I love me some Waverly chalk paint. I think I've got every color they've ever come out with. But I use a lot of white and a lot of the ivory. Those are probably my 2 favorites, and a lot of the truffle. Those are the 3 that I use most of the time. So I just took this little, it very well could have been a napkin holder. I don't know. It might be a napkin holder, but I ended up using it for paper plates because it was a really big piece, a lot bigger than what normal napkins would be. I did take, there was, this is pretty old, and some of it was splintering up on the bottom. So I took one of those little sponges sanding sponge that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and just smoothed it down. And that's me running my finger across it to make sure it was good and smooth, and nobody would get a splinter in their finger trying to pick it up and move it or whatever. So once I got it all sanded down, like I said, I took that white Waverly chalk paint and went through, and I did give this 2 good coats of that chalk paint because of it being such a dark wood. So once I got both of the coats on and got it dried, I ended up distressing it with that truffle after I put my picture on it. Well, duh, obviously I started it before I put my picture on it. It's late, y'all. I'm tired. I'm just trying to get this video finished or I can get it out for y'all to watch. So excuse my blubbering. But anyway, I took that truffle and I got it all down, all distressed. See there, y'all? My tongue stops working at midnight, and it's past midnight. So anyway, here's a couple of those pictures that I had printed out, and I just took this same little picture that I put on my cheese tray. Well, it's not really the same one. I think it's the same cow. No, it is the same picture. Yes, it is the same picture. So I cut it out and I glued it down. Now, this paper here, I thought I had regular paper in my printer. This was actually a water slide, but it's late and I did not want to go outside and spray seal this. So I tried something that I have never tried before, and that is I just glued my water slide straight down instead of doing it like you would normally do a water slide. But it ends up, you'll see here in just a minute, it ends up looking pretty good. So I was really proud of the way it turned out. So like I said, all I had left to do was just Mod Podge this down onto my little paper plate holder, and then I distressed it with that truffle paint, and then I took this little piece of farmhouse ribbon that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I just ran it across the bottom just to give it a little something extra. And I had these little burlap bows in my stash. I grabbed one of them, and then I took that same little ribbon and just went around the middle to just kind of bring it all together and make it sort of match what was going around the bottom. And once I did that, that was it. I was all done and ready to throw me some paper plates in there and show it off. So make sure you leave me a comment down below and let me know which one of all of these 4 was your favorite. Do you like the distressing? Do you not? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? All that good stuff. Make sure you go down and check out the playlist and show all of the creators some love today. We've worked hard to bring you these videos, and we love it. Love it, love it. Excuse me. I told y'all my throat quits working at midnight, y'all. We love it when you comment. We love it when you give us a big thumbs up. We love it when you subscribe. All of those things help our channel to grow, and it lets YouTube know that you're watching. So thank you, Miss Jamie at Border Bananas and Border Bananas DIY, for allowing me to be a part of your video today. I appreciate this. I had a good time, and I cannot wait to go see what everybody else has made. Thank y'all for watching. God bless you. Bye now.